So now students, now let us understand, now we have started a new chapter, that is the crop and crop requirements. So the first topic is types of crops and important terms, right? So when you are designing a canal or when you are doing anything in the irrigation engineering, there are some terms which are frequently used. So what are those terms? What is the meaning of those terms? And what are the different types of crops that we are dealing with in irrigation engineering? All these things we are going to look in this chapter, that is the types of crops and important terms, right? So let me use another marker, right? Okay. Now, first of all, let us discuss the types of crops. So broadly classifying, we have two types of crops, right? So crops we basically classify on the basis of season, that in which season they are actually sown and in which season they are actually harvested, right? So for example, this is your sown period, sowing, right? This is your sowing period, and after some time you have a harvesting period also. Right? So generally, the type of crops that we in India, what we practice is that we classify crops on the basis of season, and we have two types of crops. So first one is a Rabi crop. Another one is a Kharif crop. Clear? So first of all, let us discuss about the Kharif crop. Then I will tell about the Rabi crop, right? If you remember in previous lecture, I gave you a term which is known as KAS. If you remember, KAS, right? K stands for Karnataka or Kashmir, whatever. A for administrative and S for services. So Karnataka administrative services or Kashmir administrative services. So A stands for April. A stands for April and S stands for September. Because in examination, these two topics are very important and very easy also. But what happens in examinations, the students, they forget that what was the Rabi, what was the Kharif crop. So what is there? I have made a small, you can say, trick. So K stands for Kharif. Clear? So Kharif crops are those crops which are sown in the month of April and harvested in the month of September, right? So I'm writing here. So these crops, they are sown in April, right, and harvested in September. There is another name given to Kharif crops. Kharif crops are also known as monsoon crops. The Kharif crops are also known as monsoon crops, right? Okay. Now coming to the Rabi crop. So which month is left? So it is April to September. So from March, you can see from October to March is left, right? So I will write the Rabi crops are those crops which are sown in October and harvested in March. Right? These crops are also known as winter crops. The Rabi crops, right? The famous example of a Rabi crop is wheat. Let me do an example. Also use another marker. Example. So example is wheat. The most famous example of a Rabi crop is wheat. We also have grams. We also have barley. We also have peas, etc. Many other examples are there, but the famous example being wheat, because wheat has been asked in examinations many times. That wheat is a type of Rabi crop or Kharif crop. The correct answer is Rabi crop. Okay. Now, talking about the examples of Kharif crop. So Kharif crop, these are also known as the monsoon crop. The most important example is rice. So example is rice. Apart from rice, what is important is that sometimes in examination, groundnut is also asked. That groundnut is a type of, it's a Kharif crop, right? So apart from groundnut, you also have bajra also, right? Bajra is also there. Bajra, etc. And many other types of crops, right? Now, I will give you a trick also, that in examination, if some crop has been mentioned and you don't know whether it is a Kharif crop or a Rabi crop, just imagine, just being a common person, just imagine that in which season do you eat that particular crop more, right? For example, if I talk about your you can say, if I talk about the, let's say, your groundnut. So groundnut you are generally eating in your winters, right? In winters you are generally eating groundnut, right? It means that if it has been harvested in the, you can say, during the winter time, a little bit of winter time, it means that it is a basically a kharif crop because it was sown in monsoon. Then only it can be harvested during the winter time, and then you have in the month of October, November, after the Deepavali in India, right? You have the kharif crops. Okay. So that is what that is how you can also determine if examination some crop is given and don't know whether it is a rabi crop or kharif crop. That is also you can determine whether it is a rabi crop or a kharif crop. The third type of crop. So these are the important types of crops, right? But there are some crops, right? There are some crops which can be grown. Again, I'm repeating. There are some crops which can be grown throughout the year. Throughout the year, they are available, right? For example, you have sugarcane. Let us say you have cotton, right? So these types of crops, they can be grown throughout the year, and these types of crops have been categorized into a third category that is known as zaid crop. Z-A-I-D, zaid crops. So these crops, C-R-O-P-S, these crops can be grown throughout the year. Throughout the year. And the most important example is, which has been asked in many times in examination, is sugarcane. Is sugarcane. These crops are also known as perennial crops also, right? These crops are also known as perennial crops also. Perennial crops also, right? Okay, so the most important example is sugarcane, another example is cotton. Right? There are also other examples, but the most important is sugarcane and cotton, right? So these crops can be grown, can be found throughout the year, right? Now we have discussed about the types of crops. Now let us discuss some important terms related to crops and irrigation, right? These important terms are very important, right? Because many times they are directly asked in examinations and students are unable to understand what these terms actually are, right? So the first term which I'll be telling you about the crops or the irrigation, the first term is known as the crop period, right? The first term is known as the crop period. Now let me rub this, right? The first term, A, number A, let me write A. Let me write it A. The first is crop period, right? So why I haven't rubbed it? Because the time period between sowing and harvesting is known as the crop period. So the time period between, do I need to write it? Right? I'm just dictating it. That the time period between sowing and harvesting is known as the crop period. Clear? Now, second term is known as the second term B. The second term is known as the base period. Base period, right? So these are the important terms. Important terms, right? Second is the base period, right? So students, they get confused between the base period and crop period, and in examinations when this base period is mentioned, so sometimes the students, they take equal to it, take it equal to crop period. So what is the logic behind it? I will be telling you, right? That is important, right? So base period. Now I'm going to tell you one thing, that when you do irrigation, right? Let us say that you want to sow some crop. Now before sowing that crop, what we do is that you can say we provide some water to a particular land before sowing crop, right? So that it has some moisture content. We plow the particular land, right, to make it ready for the sowing of crops, right? Okay. So even before sowing, what we do is that we provide some water. We provide some water for irrigation, right? Right? We provide some water for irrigation. So the time between the first watering, and before harvesting also, you must be providing some water before harvesting. For example, let us say that you have harvested your crop in the month of, let us say, September. So even in the month of August or August 10, you must have provided some irrigation water. So the time period between the first watering before sowing and the time period between the time period between the first watering before sowing to the time period of the last watering before harvesting. Last watering before harvesting is known as the base period, TB. This is known as the base period. This is your TC, crop period. This is known as the base period. Because this is important, that is why I am going to write it, because a lot of students, they get confused between crop period and base period, right? So base period is the time between, right? Time between first watering or first irrigation, you can also say first watering before sowing, right? Before sowing and last watering before harvesting, and last watering before harvesting. Before harvesting is known as the base period. This is important, that first watering before sowing and last watering before harvesting. Okay, so this is known as the base period. Now the question is, sir, which one is greater? Is the crop period greater or the base period greater? So dear students, it has been found that the crop period is a little bit higher side as compared to the base period. If you go to the exact value, so it has been found that the crop period, let us say it is TC, it is greater than TB by 10%, nearly 10%. But for calculation purposes, again I am repeating, generally it is greater than TB, but for calculation purposes, I am writing here, for calculation purpose, we generally take crop period is equals to base period. For calculation purpose, we take crop period is equals to base period. But suppose in interview examination, even in gate examination, a question comes that which of the following is correct, and this relation is given to you, it is correct, right? If it is given TC is equals to TB, no, this is not exactly correct. This is exact value. That is TC is greater than TB. By how much? By 10%. Clear? Now let's move to the next important term. Let me denote it with C. So C is known as the paleo irrigation. PALEO, paleo irrigation. Paleo irrigation. Now, what is this paleo irrigation? I told you that to make your particular agricultural land ready for sowing a particular crop, before sowing, what we do is that we provide some water, right? And this irrigation, the initial irrigation before sowing, is known as the paleo irrigation, right? So I will write it like this: irrigation before sowing. Irrigation before sowing is known as the paleo irrigation. Clear? Now, after paleo irrigation, another important term which you will generally find is known as the core period. Right? Is known as the core. First of all, let us say understand about the core watering. Understand about the core watering. Clear? Okay. Now, what is consumptive use? The amount of water used by plants for the maximum growth is known as the consumptive use. I told you that. Now, the question is, what is that particular time at which the crops will have maximum growth? So, it has been found that when your crops are a few centimeters in length or in height, right? Again, I am repeating, when your crops are a few centimeters in height, it has been found that they have the highest water absorbing capacity, or they have the highest consumptive use at that period. At which period? When they are a few centimeters taller, right? So the irrigation, it means that you have to provide maximum irrigation at that time. You have to provide maximum irrigation for the growth of the plants, for the growth of the crops, right? And that you can say irrigation which you provide in that period when they are just a few centimeters tall is known as core watering. So I am writing here irrigation water provided, right? Irrigation water provided to crops when they are few centimeters in height. In height, that is, they have the maximum growth. That is, they have maximum growth. They have maximum growth is known as core watering. Clear? Now, related to the core watering, there is a term which is known as core period. E. E stands for core period. The number E point is core period, right? So now what is this core period? Now it does not mean that you will provide this core watering only in 1 day or 2 day or 3 days. It will take time. It can be 1 week or 2 weeks, or because for example for a wheat it is 2 to 4 weeks, right? So the time period in which you are providing core watering is known as the core period. Clear? Again I am repeating. The time period in which you are providing core watering to a particular crop is known as core period. Simple. Clear? I am not going to write about it because I have explained, right? Now, after core watering and core period, another term is known as the core water depth. Now, let me rub this, right? Now, let me rub this. I hope you have got it. Now, let me rub this because I have explained you this, right? Right. The next important thing is core water depth. F, number F point, right? So F point would be core water depth. Core water depth. Now, what is core water depth? So you have provided core watering for a particular core period. So you must be providing some volume of water over a particular, you can see, area. So volume divided by area, there will be some depth of water. So that depth is known as the core water depth. Or you can say that the maximum depth of water during the entire crop period or the entire base period is known as the core water depth, right? Whenever you are designing your crop, generally we design the core water depth because it is the maximum depth of irrigation. Clear? Now, after this crop water depth, and the term that we generally use is known as the capacity factor. Capacity factor. CF. Capacity factor, right? Now, what is the purpose of calculating all these values? The purpose of calculating all these values is that you must know how much discharge should be released from a particular irrigation source. Generally, it is irrigation canal, right? So, how much discharge should be released? Now, what we do is that generally we design our canals for the maximum discharge. Generally, right? Because when you have the maximum discharge, you have the maximum water available, right? And when you have the maximum water available, your growth of crops will be very high because there will be no water scarcity for them, right? Okay. So generally we design our canals for the maximum discharge. But is it possible that throughout the base period you will have the maximum discharge in canal? No, because sometimes when there is heavy rainfall, the canals can be full or maximum discharge. If there is no rainfall, if there is arid season, then the authorities, they may not allow the canal to flow full or the maximum discharge. There can be some lower discharge. So capacity factor is actually the mean discharge of canal or source, right? Of canal or source divided by the maximum discharge or Qmax. That is the mean or average discharge of canal or source to the maximum discharge of canal or source is known as the capacity factor. Clear? Okay. So generally we try that the capacity factor should be equal to 1. Why? Because if it is equal to 1, it means that the mean discharge is equal to the maximum discharge, and that will be beneficial for the crops ultimately. But that is why we try in designing purpose that the capacity factor should be almost equal to 1. Right? Now the last important term that is used in irrigation engineering is known as the time factor. TF. Right? So what is this time factor? The time factor is that now you know that for a particular crop what is the base period. Now you assume that throughout the base period the irrigation water is available. Clear? Now from where that irrigation water will come? The irrigation water will come from the canal. So you assume that throughout the base period the entrance of the canal is open and the canal is giving us water, right? But is it actually true? No, because sometimes the authorities, the government authorities, they might think, okay, that in this area the irrigation canal was open for 1 week, now it's time to provide that irrigation water to some other area, because nowadays there is water scarcity, right? So what is happening is that time factor is actually equal to the, you can say, canal run, that is for how much time the canal is actually running, divided by, it is the canal period. Or you can also say that the time, or you can say that time canal actually providing water, divided by time the canal should provide water. Time canal should provide water. I hope that you have understood the time period, time factor also, right? So these were the basic important terms which are generally used in irrigation engineering. One is the crop ratio, right? I have already told you that is the Kharif area divided by the Rabi area, right? So that is, I have already told you. In some books it is given vice versa also. Okay. So types of crops, important terms, all these things are clear. Now let's move forward and let's understand a very important, you can say, a very important topic, that is about the duty and delta of a particular crop, right? So what is duty and what is delta? Because questions are asked very frequently from that single topic, that is the duty as well as the delta. So now let's move forward and understand the concept of duty and delta. Thank you.